So good evening everybody. These are your WAIRARAPA candidates standing on why they should be elected as the MP for the next 3 years, but with every election there's one thing stepping in their way, and that's your vote. And Kieran, good evening and welcome to tonight's It's in the Ballot show, coming here live from the Martinborough Townhall. So tonight we will be doing another round of candidates. Just trying to get the mic in the right place so it doesn't echo around you. So we've got candidates here who will be vying for your electoral vote for the next 3 years. Now, before we head to reveal the candidates,
hi. Good day, Kieran. Yeah, I just want to say hi to everyone and congratulations, thanks for coming on out, and congratulations to all of our candidates who have arrived tonight. And Kieran is online, I think. Just there, Kieran. Cheers, thanks for being here. Okay.
Celia, would you like to reveal yourself, please?
Kia ora, I'm Celia standing for the Green Party.
Okay, I'm just trying to, Simon, please reveal yourself.
Yeah, g'day, I'm Simon Casey, I'm standing for the ACT Party.
And I see Pete has already revealed himself.
Peter standing for New Zealand.
Okay, and Mike, please reveal yourself.
I'm not Mike Butterick, but Mike is the National Party is a engagement in the northern part of the
Okay, and the big reveal we have coming in remotely, Kieran. Welcome to the show.
Good day, good day everyone. I'm Kieran McAnulty. I'm the Labor Party candidate.
Okay, so thank you for sitting there and joining in. Okay, so let's kick off with opening statements. Celia, would you like to go off first since you're at the top of the website, please?
Kia ora everybody, Ngangiri, Ngamana, Ngarel, good evening everybody. Nice to see some faces I know and some people I haven't met yet. I've been a teacher, I've been teaching refugees in Masterton most recently. I've been an IT programmer, which means that Jill and I understand each other in code. I've been a tree planter, a councillor in there at Wellington. I'm a pretty keen walker, cyclist and kayaker, and I'm committed to the Green Party. I first joined in 1992, and I still believe their policies are good for people and good to the planet. And we're proud of the progress we've made over the last 6 years, but the pace of change is too slow.
You know how to make me run across the room. Okay, next up, Simon.
Yeah, hi everyone, my name's Simon Casey. I'm a recent import into the WAIRARAPA. I've been here 18 months. I was in Wellington, was running my own business. Managed to sell the business and basically start to live and dream home in the WAIRARAPA. I've been involved with the WAIRARAPA for a few years already as a part of my hobby, which is gliding. I'm the president of the WAIRARAPA Gliding Club. and it is a fantastic way to see the country is to look from above down to Wairarapa. It was stunning and beautiful. My wife and I fell in love with the place, and so we moved over and we managed to sell our business, and with not having to run a business, I was able to put more time into my passion, my other passion, which is politics. And why I'm standing for ACT is because ACT stands for a number of principles which I find really important, which is freedom of the individual, freedom of speech, and freedom of choice. As well as that, everyone is equal under the law. We are not for big government, we're the small government, distributed, devolutional government. And where we do have government, that government must be fully accountable to the public. Those values were true of me, I'm sure they were true of you as well. I look forward to talking with you more tonight.
Okay, next up, Pete.
Hi, I'm Kieran. I'm 15 or 16 years in WAIRARAPA. I'm not passionate about politics. I'm just some guy that puts his hand up for change. People are hurting and need some real change, and somebody had to do it. Do it for my kids and your kids and more Kiwis. I'm a squash coach, that's what I spend most of my time doing normally, that's on hold now. Hopefully my students will get come back at some stage. Thanks. Give me a hand, ladies and gentlemen, because I think it's not a small thing for people to put their hand up, stand in Parliament, to take that on board. We've got some non-college councils and communities that are here. Just this way, it's a big thing for people to put themselves in this position, and I'd encourage you to give them as much encouragement tonight as you can, because there's
your opening statement.
G'day everyone. First of all, I just want to apologise for not being able to be there in person. I had some last minute ministerial stuff come up, so I'm really grateful for It's in the Ballot to let me come on online. The last 3 years have been a massive privilege for me to be able to represent my home region in Parliament, but also deliver for the region. I said to you 3 years ago that if I was elected, I would fight hard for new trains to go alongside the upgraded WAIRARAPA rail line, that I would bring social housing back to this region, that I would increase the number of police, and that we would get roundabouts where we need them up near Masterton and Carterton. And I've delivered on all of those things. Not many MPs can say they've delivered on every promise they've made, but I'm proud to say that I can, and I'm hoping to have 3 more years to continue delivering for this region.
Thank you for that, Kieran. Okay, so we're going to get to our, before we do that, let's get to our electorate video so you can find out where in the WAIRARAPA electorate WAIRARAPA voters live.
Let's find out where the WAIRARAPA electorate voters are based. Starting from the south, the WAIRARAPA electorate starts from Cape Palliser and works its way up, covering the small South Wairarapa towns of Martinborough, Featherston, Greytown and Carterton, and its big town Masterton. And heading north, it moves into Aotearoa district area, where you have the towns of Ekatuna, Paitua, Woodville and Dannyverk on State Highway 2, and on the other road you've got Alfreton, Pongaroa, Weber and Wimbledon on Route 52. And on the northern end of the WAIRARAPA electorate you also have Northwood, Takapau, Waipakarau and Waipawa. And you're probably wondering what is unique about the WAIRARAPA electorate. Well, it boundaries 5 electorates with Hutt South right down the bottom, all the way up to Tukituki in the north and Rangitikei in the west. It also, at Woodville, has New Zealand's only balloon loop to enable non-stop connections from the WAIRARAPA line with the Palmerston North Gisborne line. And with the exception of today, you normally don't see a set of traffic lights in the Wairarapa electorate, but they are currently temporarily there on the Remutakas.
And yes, I do have to be honest, I got stopped along the way over the hill today and I waited less than 30 seconds. So the questions we think we'll be asking after watching today's show, let's bring them up on screen. Will we soon have to pay a hospital copay as a normal fact of life in order to receive that child tax cut? Number 2, is the Ballot big on its way by offering owners of old cars the ability to convert to LPG in order to combat climate change, carbon emissions? What's that climate change there? And which 9 Wairarapa town, electorate towns are going to be home to its tobacconist and a vape shop? It's quite a large area. So let's kick off with the questions here. So with that's in the ballot, we have for the 2023 season, we have 28 questions that are in the boxes there. They have questions submitted both by members of the Wairarapa electorate and also those who some are from outside of Wairarapa electorate, but are very useful information that we need to sit there and go on a party level. And every candidate has what is known as 2 button cards and 1 deferred question to another candidate. The button cards are there for when there is a question they write and they want a button to give their answer. And the deferred cards are there for when the question is a bit too difficult and they want to put it onto someone else. So we'll see how many deferred cards get used. The button ones are very popular on the show. I can tell you that most shows most candidates tend to use them up. So let's kick off with Pete. What box number would you like to pick? Ooh. Your microphone as well.
128. Use your microphone. I want ambition.
I know. Good old time.
I was once locked up the wires. I've got to say, so I'm learning how to write the song, so down the bottom it says if, so I press the button here to get it, and the question comes up. So Peter, do you agree that 16-year-olds should be able to vote? Why or why not? Oh, there's a button about it.
I know. Well, let's Celia jump in afterwards.
It's in the ballot, it's in the box, and it's anyway, brown coming out to the greens, straight out to your feet.
No, I don't think that 16-year-olds should be able to vote. It's not the time when your life brings things you'd like to see in life. I've had 7 teenagers all at once, and it's the time when they get a lot of public from their parents and important to know a lot of headphones in the side, and it's too young to be voting.
Can I just for a technical issue, can I just ask who you're speaking, but microphone's right close to your mouth, because some of us old people are here, hard of hearing, and sometimes I'm right down the back. Thank you.
Okay, so we can see to the button.
The Green Party is strongly in favour of Green 16-year-olds vote, both in the local government and central government. After all, they pay tax, they can get married, they can drive, they have a lot of responsibilities, and they have a lot of life ahead of them. And I think 16 is better than starting at 18 in many ways, because they're at school still, most of them. And they can do civics education, they can talk to people, and they are still connected with the place they grew up. Whereas at 18, then they be flouting, they're doing an apprenticeship, and they live at the university. I think we should enact what the Supreme Court told us. Not having 16 and 17-year-olds voting is discrimination based on age.
When your button's up, you find that under the seat in the lines, it comes to the units here, and yeah, okay, and I shall put that 16 foot order should apply to the pensioner.
Yeah, I think the law too. Yeah. So
So learning how to, I'm good at techno free, I'm not really good at this stuff. Probably.
You're doing fine.
Yeah, I know, it's probably because I'm old, but here we go. Right. In your opinion, Simon, what are the three most important issues that New Zealand is facing right now?
Well, how do I limit them to three? There's a lot of really important issues out there at the moment. But look, I guess the biggest one will be the cost of living. We're into a high level of sustained level of inflation, and that is actually now putting a lot of pressure on a lot of families, and that is something that is going to last with us for a while. So that would be my number one, is cost of living. But the other two that I would put forward would be health and law and order. Right? Law and order is something that is, if you don't feel safe on the streets, and in some areas it's going to be a real problem with perception of safety. We've got now people who are on home detention who committed murder. That is just something that is utterly unforgivable in a society like ours. We've got to be able to keep people safe. And when it comes to health, as we all know, probably in the audience here, we become more and more
So if they comes up, there's no button cards coming out here?
Okay, Celia, what box number would you like?
I'm going to call my river because it's number 15 and I'm number 15 on the lady.
I like that choice.
And given the current problem in the city, as we were saying before the show started, yeah, there's a chance you could find yourself there, representing us old people. Okay, here we are, number W. Oh, number W. That's the story. W, interesting that. What do we got? So, John F. Kennedy quote, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Do you agree?
I agree if you're able to. I think we should all offer back to our communities, whether it's by standing in politics or by all the fantastic volunteering initiatives done around the country. In the WAIRARAPA, I've been to a meeting in the community catchment groups, and that's been fascinating because it's a lot of volunteers, but it's volunteers who are farmers, big landowners, people who are lifestyle dog owners, and people who are just renting in a rural area, and they work really well together. I do think, though, that we shouldn't expect people who are ill, who have had accidents, who've got mental health issues, they need our help, and we shouldn't be asking them to have to stand up and lie for themselves. So it's all about community and working together.
Anyone with a button down?
I'd love to know how we're going to get Kieran to tell us the goodies at some point.
Don't forget Kieran's online. How are we going to work that?
Yeah, we've had that solved.
Oh, yeah, okay. Let's see. Okay.
New Zealand Oil, we believe that the government is here to represent the people, and we're all really strong on the idea of being representatives of people and working for people and making life better for everyday folks. It's the right way around. We're not here to be told what to do or say by the government. It needs to be a collaborative situation, and solutions can be found in collaboration. And it's not a one-way thing entirely, but definitely the government represents the people.
Ask what you can do for your country. That's what the four of you are doing right now. And like I said, congratulations. Kieran.
Okay, yes, Kieran, what box number?
Could I please choose box number 23?
23, is that your age? Where are we? Down here. I can't count that far. Here we go. Count it right. Here we go. 123, Kieran. Why number 23?
Sorry?
Why number 23?
Because that was the address that I grew up as a kid.
Okay, we're looking for N, which is right here. And your question, Kieran, is health workers who work for Aotearoa are still required to be vaccinated against COVID if elected, would you change the law and this mandate? That'd be
No, we wouldn't, because we believe that it should be the employer's decision to decide whether vaccines are required in the workplace. And Te Whatu Ora is the employer of our health workforce, and they are the appropriate organisation to determine that. It is important that the experts and the employers make the decisions at this point in time, not the politicians. That's the way the law is currently set, and I'm totally comfortable with it as it stands.
Our basic rights and our Bill of Rights are extremely important. It shouldn't be anybody's decision but your own what sort of medicine you want to take. So we are really strongly against it. We would change the law and remove that mandate for sure. And any other medical intervention that's not chosen by people without coercion or freedom of choice or what we put in the body.
Your choice. I'm really interested in the numbers of people. They don't have 71 or 70 my age. So, writing standing high. The rule of safe cover. Okay. And it's in the ballot, number 20. Fine, there it is. Even though our state highway 2 is run by Aotearoa New Zealand Transport Agency, should district councils and residents of WAIRARAPA farm same speed limits that they have imposed? That's a hot topic around here. Certainly is. We're above it.
Okay. I think it's along the same lines as collaboration and we want to build local government and get away from central government as much as possible. And I think this sort of issue is a very specific issue, but it comes down to having input from the locals. You can't do something like that without having some local input. It's very important to have the collaboration there. So,
I guess the answer is yes. Conscious of the feedback over here, Sam, so I'm turning you down. Off to the one.
We're trying to make sure that people at home can actually hear.
I'm used to people trying to turn me down.
Okay, Simon, what's number?
I would go for the Kama Pichu.
What's that?
17.
Well done. What names? I'm embarrassed. Okay. And your question, Simon, is if you had been an elected MP in the time of process in Parliament in regards to the mandates, would you have gone to the grounds of Parliament to listen and acknowledge the concerns of the people? Yes or no?
Oh, yeah. The thing about this is that it was about to get to a point where it got to, simply because I think we have to respect people's points of view, even if we disagree with people. And what came out of this was that there were a number of people who I think were unhappy with the mandates, and that was a fair call. and they went to Parliament and no one would actually give them an ear to listen to. As a result, we had people, we had the Speaker of the House playing very mellow music, and it was just very, very unfortunate, and it just exaggerated the whole problem. Had they been listened to right at the beginning, it may have saved a whole lot of grief and a whole lot of conflict. No matter what point of view is, if someone wants to be heard, they should be heard. Absolutely, they should listen to.
Yeah, the screen down there. You've got screens here with this one.
Yeah.
And you're right, sit down. What are you going for?
I'm going for Eva, number 9. And no particular.
Right. Number 9. Here we go. Celia, you have chosen question C, which this year Lakeview School and Masterton Intermediate are running a board-funded attendance program, which has been successful in slashing chronic truancy after several years of declining attendance. If you were elected as our elected MP, would you advocate for this program to be funded by the $88 million that the Ministry of Education has been budgeting for attendance programs? That's a pretty specific question.
Well, presumably they're going to give the whole $88 million just for those two schools.
Well,
So, ignoring that point, I think they've done a fantastic job. Simon and I were at a meeting today where Tim Nelson was there and one of the other principals, and I think this is a fantastic initiative, and it's been done in a very non-punitive way. So I think we need to remember that you can get people to schools by working with the board of trustees, with the principals and so on. And I do think, there's visits and so on, it does cost time and money. So I think it's a good use of money. But it probably has to be done, it won't necessarily do it for every school in exactly the same way. So there has to be, we can't just say, this is exactly how Lakeview School did it, it has to be done exactly the same by Wellington College, WAIRARAPA College, whatever. We have to let the schools have a bit of flexibility in how they address truancy, but it's an incredibly important issue.
Yeah, I thought I'd use a button card here because the question asks, would we advocate for this? As the current electorate MP, that's exactly what I'm doing. I've met with the Minister of Education and formally requested that our fair share of that be allocated to a WAIRARAPA-based program. We can't repeat the mistakes that have happened in the past where the previous government moved attendance services out of WAIRARAPA and based it at a Hastings. That's madness. Lakeview and MIS have shown that a locally based service with people that whānau trust, that is effective, and they should be acknowledged for that, and they should get their fair share of the funding, and I'll continue advocating for that.
Kieran, what box number? Don't you get off this?
Could I please have box number 3, because that's how old my greyhound Zoe is.
Oh, mate. There's a house from there. I guess the thing about some of these questions, it indicates when you start talking about schools like that, it reminds me of just how big the WAIRARAPA electorate is. Kieran knows from his timeline, from my time, the amount of travel and the number of schools that come under their watch. So, it's a big job every week for them to represent us. It's not just here at Arnott, it's all the way up to Waitara. It's a lot of schools we've given here and there. But to your offer, that's why you're here. So, Kieran, your question is R, and it probably starts with, in your opinion, should mainstream media be funded by taxpayers and therefore owned by the state? Kieran?
I absolutely believe that there is a role for a state broadcaster, the RNZ and TVNZ. I wouldn't go as far to say that all media should be state broadcasters, absolutely not. Nor should I say that there shouldn't be a state broadcaster. But what is important is that the editorial license of RNZ and TVNZ is absolutely separate from ministers. There is a reason why New Zealand consistently ranks as one of the least corrupt countries in the world, because we have these provisions in place. So while I support the funding absolutely, it's important that they maintain their independence.
Anybody else?
Okay. Yes, okay, so Pete, what box number?
Number 5, please.
5. Okay, Pete.
Here we go.
Your question, Pete. The future of local government report says the current local government funding and finance system is already under pressure and is not sustainable. I can attest to that. How is your party going to respond to this very constructive review, serious issue?
Okay, so, yeah, like I said before, we want to build local government, and it's a big deal having local government. We know what our resources are locally and how to make use of them. There's a reason why we don't have money for these things, and the country is not in a good state overall. We shouldn't be a poor country. Yeah, we've really been one of the best places in the world and the most productive places in the world, and everybody's struggling and getting squeezed and crushed. There's just a huge drain on our economy from all our good productivity. It's all being drained straight out to the distribution chart.
Time? I thought we have time.
Yeah,
We've got 2 votes actually.
I totally agree with this. The way local government is funded at the moment is just not fit for purpose. It's just work on a ratings basis, work on capital value. So effect. There's a form of wealth tax, and there are some people who are living in homes whereby through accumulation of the value of the home, they may not even be able to pay the rates that go with it. So I certainly believe that we do need another type of funding. ACT is putting forward a form of hardware GC that is for the development of new houses will go to the local authorities to help with infrastructure. And I believe we can go further than that. I actually believe that the local bodies should be funded partly through rates, but partly through some form of transactional. That is public in the area. A base for revenue.
Technical issue here.
That's all right. Let's connect Kieran in for his button as well.
Thank you. As local government minister, I felt obligated to butt in on this one. It's a very complex issue, so I'll be as succinct as I can. As minister, I've made a commitment to the local government sector that if we are re-elected, we will sort this out once and for all. There's been review after review after review, and successive governments have done nothing, and rates are unsustainable. This show is being broadcast in South Wairarapa, where rate rises have gone beyond people's ability to pay, particularly those on fixed incomes. It cannot go on like this. If we reverse affordable water reforms, we'll be facing bills of thousands and we won't be able to afford it. We need to tackle a long-term issue here, not treat it with politics, but actually knuckle down and get on with it. The local government sector is being left high and dry if we don't.
Might just go to one back, since he's not using that.
No, that one's not
Open either. Anyway, so thanks for that. Thanks, Kieran. Great answers. Ladies and gentlemen, comes around fast, doesn't it? Sorry?
Yeah, that was a sorry. Yeah, sorry, mine's really come.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hot,
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, number 2, please. Sorry, number 2. Why? I was trying to get there.
All
Gee.
Axe go for the left. That's right.
Oh, very good.
That's what I like, a bit of fun and humour, come on. Okay, Simon, how effective do you consider the government's interventions / action on youth offending has been? You wrote this one for Act. Come on. Did you know what was in the box?
I couldn't possibly say that. I'm going to be strictly looking at this. Seriously. Yeah, I have to say, absolutely not. It has not been effective at all. And as a result, we have got youth offenders who really have almost a license to do what they want to do. When you know that you've got something like a 2.3% protest rate on retail crime, you know how serious it is. Basically, that you can, and they do try to get away with crimes when they're not likely to get caught. So what ACT wants to do, firstly, you have to get caught. So we don't want police numbers to be a political football. What we want to do is have police numbers like the population, and we have to increase it such that the likelihood of being caught is right up there. Now, with youth offenders, especially the young ones, if we find that they are doing some minor crime, like they might be shoplifting, whatever, the police will be able to provide an instant response. You cannot delay it. If you get caught, there's an instant response. It might be community service, it might be what's struggling to figure off walls. Just something to try and break the cycle at a very, very early stage before it starts getting severe done. So actually very serious on trying to
And we have a button coming from the room, so you went round.
Josh, I'm doing a few more button cards. Anyone get
That's
this
right.
ready?
How much do we sell them for?
Now, I think you have to look at the causes of offending and not just the symptoms. And if you look at, I don't know how many people here have read The Spirit Level, it's a fantastic book. It actually talks about how growing inequality causes so many issues, whether it's crime, poor health, things like that. I think there is a huge lack of mental health professionals coming in at an early enough time. And look at design. I mean, I have no idea, like no one else probably knows except the perpetrator, what happened without starting an orphan. But I will put my money on some fairly serious mental health issues. So where is our early childhood care? Where is our identification of people who are struggling? And where is the removal of family violence and sexual violence? So if you're damaged as a baby and as a toddler and as a young child, your chances of growing up in a healthy, fulfilling life are not great.
Celia, expect you to continue your mixed box number.
I would like to box whole month to 27, because that's how old I was when I came to New Zealand. I don't regret it.
I feel that by Christmas Eve, I don't put my so the boxes.
Okay, Celia, footprints. How is your party going to stop the increasing promotion in children's mental health?
That's not G.
Sorry.
So I thought you said it was G. No. Well, there are several things we're going to do. One is actually guaranteed minimum income, which will support more healthy pies on the table with families. But the big green party policy here is free dental care for all ages. The reason, although I must acknowledge Labour bringing in the under 18 free dental care. Children's dental health depends on parental education support and having enough money that you can afford 2 litres of milk, not 2 litres of Coca-Cola. So I do think that the guaranteed minimum income is going to make a big difference. I think we've already seen a little bit of work. I've seen Raymond Brett Leakley from the Grocery Association talking about winding down the amount of sugar, the amount of salt in food we drink.
I definitely know 2 litres of milk is cheaper than 2 litres of petrol now as well, so that's something.
Well, I hope you're not drinking petrol.
I'm not either.
And I'm going to go to Kieran. I hope Kieran will realise that now challenging this goal is not, but we'll get to being impartial and being
Is number 8 available, Ron?
Number 8, absolutely it is, Kieran. Right. Whoa. Kieran. Not too bad for something. You know what you got? Grips of it, nothing. Do it once. Here you go. Property investors often out to bid first home buyers of home and household types. How would you encourage these investors to switch to more productive investments?
Well, one effective measure that the government has brought in is increasing the bright line test to 10 years and removing interest deductibility on investment properties. The key part to why this is effective is because if property investors built a new house, they wouldn't be bound by those changes. So it's shifting investment away from the existing stock into building new houses, which is exactly what we want to do. The last thing we need is investors and speculators competing amongst themselves and pricing first home buyers out of the market. It's really distressing to me that some parties are proposing to bring that back. We will see investment away from new builds back into existing stock, and we'll be back where we started, which was meant that hardworking families couldn't get onto the property ladder in the first place.
And we have Ballot coming from there, but thanks, Kieran.
Yeah, look, the thing that I find really appalling is that property investors have been seen as being just really manipulative choices and such. They are actually part of the solution to the housing crisis. We do have a shortage of rental properties. Yes, we do have a shortage of properties for first-time buyers. The thing about it is that I think that investors will only outbid first-time buyers if that property is in need of a lot of development, and that's and also the investors will only go for properties where there is a good return on investment because it is a business after all. Whereas first-time buyers will not have that requirement. They want a first time, they're not looking for return on investment. So in many cases, they won't be outbid by a property investor. Property investors looking for further development, like adding units on or doing a total renovation. But the other thing I'd say is, this is where it gets really bad, is Aotearoa has probably been the worst in terms of outbidding some property price.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's interesting.
Use up the puzzle cards. So my head.
I think we're wrong. Kieran doesn't.
I've got to say, this is the most orderly type of meeting candidate. Because we're normally used to coming over top of each other, aren't we? And if you get a little unruly out there at times, when we're campaigning and you've got to get in, and this is very genteel.
So does it from now on?
Maybe we should do it at Parliament, you know, we can't interject unless you've got to, you know, you just got to sit there and shut up. You can't have
Some people will
use it.
Okay, so people, what's that?
10 years.
10? Get pushed up now. Here it is. What is your view of the WAIRARAPA councils and Melbourne making? Say hot local issues, right? Yes, what are you referring to? Kieran or Celia or Simon? You choose. I'm sure. Kieran's got over away with his hands, right?
I owe you, thank you very much. When I was mayor of raising this big issue about the super city. And I have to say that Ron is fantastic to stand next to you and say, Masterton to Arnott is too far for one council. Now,
Who said these officers were going to never agree?
not me and not Holly.
Ask Doris.
We're using my time. But with the changes to waters and the huge amount of money that central government has to put into maintaining existing roadings rather than throw it away on the motorways, I do think it's time we can look at some changes. We've already got some staff, like the wonderful Sanders, working across all three councils, but it's got to be up to the people of the WAIRARAPA area.
Well, I took the legs off that one. Now, Oh, there you go. I was voting for number 16. 16. 6. Right, yeah. You get Celia from Bullseye, she got a Well, it's a funny other thing, and we can talk about that, but I don't think people realise how often across the House, across the political divide, parties, individual MPs can come together and get some positive stuff. And I've got to say to you that I have worked very closely with some Green MPs, and one who I worked very closely with was Sue Kinsley, on the Agent Orange 245T and issue, and I think Sharon stayed very good on that issue. So, you know, we could be in the middle of New York. Q. Let's go to Q, which reads, the future of local government report says a significant fund is also needed to support climate change adaptation activities. How is your party going to respond to this very big issue?
Yep, and I totally agree with that. We're very supportive of the reduction of carbon emissions, no doubt about that, but even if we went to zero, we are going to have climate change because of the problems related to the rest of the world. So we are going to have to plan to adapt, and we haven't done so yet. We can start seeing now the consequences of not adapting. In the WAIRARAPA, I certainly have a pet project that I think is very important for the area. We're going from La Nina to El Nino, and we have sites that get out in the past, and it's likely to happen again. I certainly think that the WAIRARAPA needs to adapt. I would like to see the reinstatement of the water security, the water scheme, the dam, and that can be reinstated. It has to happen because it should be happening now. We've done it 2026.
We got a button from Kieran.
Well, here's no buttons. Cool, here is your Kieran. It's 2 seats with us up.
All right, thank you, Tom. So that's an issue I can find.
Yes, it will be funded. It might be PPP, but it will be funded.
Thank you.
Kieran, I have to follow my party in 11.
Excellent. Good one to do.
Wasn't there a TV show that you used to organise the country back in the day?
I'm not kidding.
I went to something that was supposed to. Sorry? Oh, this one fits in very, very well.
E, is government spending on cycling? Okay, how's this working? Another one,
It's a plant.
bang on. Is government spending on cycling and cycleway a waste of money? Please explain your reason and how you don't have the time.
Let the thing come on to the service. No. No, I don't think it's a waste of money. We're not going to work our way out of congestion in towns and cities by building more roads, it just shifts the point of congestion. Walking, cycling and public transport, that's where the investment is needed. I'm so pleased that not only was cycle deficit that I started controversially with Island Bay, but it seems to be weeding quite well and it's still there. They've now got all the way through most of Newtown and down Cambridge Terrace, and they're saying since Cambridge Terrace, the numbers have doubled in a month. 97% increase. So those are people who are not going to want to take the train's car home. They're people who are going to be fitter and healthier and reduce congestion as well as having a great time. Oh, and 5 times higher, we want that here for both the recreation and the tourism.
Road these days, the subway's been here, our trips are a lot faster than a car. So, no one is driving their car, stopping in the middle of the block, 2 lanes of traffic, sit and reverse 3 times over all the big SUVs that don't block the signal.
Just without saying, yeah. And I've got to say, this morning I said we had the walking cycling advisory group meeting, and Celia was there presenting, and the walking the talk on that issue there too.
Oh, sorry, that was talking the walk.
Talking the walk, but you weren't walking. We're also something or something. Yeah. Okay. Kieran, what's up, Kieran? Are you walking or cycling, or you got any inside knowledge on what's inside the box you're about to pick in? Because these two clearly did.
If the next question is about racing, then we know that there's something behind it. But could I please pick box number 14?
14. Right here, in front.
Yes, please.
You go good eyes. Right. In your opinion, Karen, should councils be forced by the Ministry of Health to fluoridate their community's water supplies?
I think the Director General of Health is the appropriate person to determine this, because then it will be made on health grounds and made on the basis of evidence, as opposed to potentially councils not doing it because it is an extra cost. Where I will say, though, is that if a decision is that council water should be fluoridated, then I believe there should be some additional funding to go to the councils to pay for the additional treatment that would not have otherwise been there. There has been too many examples over many years where things have been imposed on councils, but the funding hasn't followed through, and the inevitable result is higher rates. And that is something that, as Minister, I'm committed to addressing moving forward.
Thank you, Karen. And I can understand that. We talk about these issues a lot going along, and I'm not sure how many of you are aware. Can't do this consistently have referendums on that. And if we don't have fluoride on water, there's referendums also no. But the answer is a good answer. Well, not from you judging, but I can say that it would cost us around 250,000 for fluoridation, and we would buy more land with the railway space at the time. So there we go. So next question. Should we get straight for a break? Very soft. We're going for a break? Yeah, we should go for a break. Right now? Yeah, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a little break. Pause, a glass of water, next mingle, and we'll catch you in how many minutes? 10 minutes. 10 minutes. So grab your table and see you back in 10. Give you nothing cards.
I'm back again, thank you. And what we want to do here is we want to, for the candidates to introduce themselves. So do we have a preferred, who should we start off with? I'll tell you what, let's start with, have we got the Prime Minister there anywhere? Let's start with the Prime Minister.
I am not Chris Hipkins, I am at a debate.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
This is Michael Hill. He's not here.
My name's Hector Robertson, and I'm with Vision New Zealand. I'm here.
Hi, I'm Tony Pitteroy, and I'm with New Zealand Party.
Kia ora. I'm Chris Norton, and I'm with the Greens.
I'm not Emma Chatterton, but Emma has, in fact, submitted 2 videos, which we will see later on in the show.
Thank you very much. There you are. There is our list of candidates.
Tim, Ali, Sean, Teresa. Join us at 7 p.m. Thursday the 21st of September for the It's in the Ballot Aotearoa Electorate show. Join us here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and watch us live at www.itsintheballot.nz. See you then. Let's take a look back down memory lane and see what happened on the Mana Electorate show.
Good evening, everybody. Tonight, these are your Mana candidates on why they should be standing to get your electoral vote for the next 3 years. But with every election, there's one thing stepping away, and that's your vote.
And you're probably wondering how the reveal went.
These are the candidates' faces you'll see, and one by one, we'll peel them, and you can find out who's here and who's not. So, Gina, would you like to reveal yourself, please? And you've got your microphone down there if you want to say hello.
Kia ora.
Okay. Kush.
Kia ora, welcome, namaste. I'm Kush Bhargava.
Okay. Andy.
Kia ora, I'm Andy Foster.
Did that go through on the string? I hope it did. Okay. Lily.
Ta-da! It's not Lily. I'm standing in for Lily Brown, the candidate for Mana. My name is Sean Rush.
Okay. Let's reveal Barbara.
Hello, I'm not Barbara. I'm just standing in for.
And you're not standing, and she didn't nominate a stand-in. Okay. And next up, Francis.
And I'm not Francis, and she didn't nominate a stand-in.
Okay, and so this will be the tricks that will happen every single time when candidates do not come in there. We will leave a reminder on stage of a picture on the screen. So, and Jill's having the fun job of putting them all in. So, thank you for joining us here tonight.
To watch the Mana Electorate show again, head to our website at www.itsintheballot.nz and click on Mana Electorate. Natalia, Taylor, Tamitha, Abraham, Meg, Scott, Michael, Christopher. Join us this Friday, the 22nd of September at 7 p.m. for the Wellington Central It's in the Ballot show. Join us here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and watch us live at www.itsintheballot.nz. See you then.
Okay, and the questions we think you'll be asking after watching tonight's show, let's bring them up on screen. Now, will this election come down to parties' choices on free dental care and whether or not there should be an age for the cutoff?
Will EV car chargers be installed halfway up Transmission Gully to help combat EV cars running out of juice on the steep incline, steeper than fell incline, climbing up the Wainui Settle? And how many meet the candidates are too many meet the candidates in the month of September? Is it 5, 10, 20? Or should we say, I think one candidate's here done over 30 before in the past. So those are the questions we think you'll be asking after watching tonight's show. So Karuna, Julianne, Bruce, Claire, Marina, Jeff, Adam, Nicole, Don. Join us at 4 p.m. Friday, the 22nd of October for It's in the Ballot Raumatai Electorate. Join us here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and watch us live at www.itsintheballot.nz. See you then.
The bill that I would introduce is extending the time from when candidates are announced to the election from 4 weeks to 9 weeks, because it's just not enough time. And you know, we had evidence of that. I got a call yesterday saying, "Hey, you want to go to candidates meeting?" Okay, or was it yesterday or the day before? Yeah, yesterday. So only because Jill just found my name slipping through as a candidate for Umataka. So in local body elections, there's a 9-week time frame, and that gives time for everyone to get prepared and to start moving through the campaign. I'm still trying to get my car sign written, and there's only 3 weeks to the election. You know, things like that. So that it's a simple bill, but it's really is just it's a leftover from first past the post, where the small parties just haven't been taken into account as to giving them enough time to run up to the election. And thank you.
So this evening, we've got a couple of questions that we think that you're going to be asking after this evening's show. The first question, will you be able to afford to spend $300 a week on childcare to get the maximum childcare rebate in a cost of living crisis? Question number 2, is it time for the EQC to expand its scope to include climate change disaster cover? And question number 3, if no cause rental terminations are reinstated in 2026, will Hart South residents have to worry about being evicted for allowing a campaigning politician to use the bathroom in their house if their landlord finds out and does not like that politician? Okay, so questions to think about, people.
Okay, so our questions are the questions that we get every candidate to sit down and ask. And these are questions that are very particularly a bit of a focus on that, and I have a job of asking questions. So, hard question number one is, the housing sector has been impacted by over-regulation. What will the party do to assist them to deliver positive environmental outcomes without adding more regulation? Now let's go remotely to Kieran first, since you've got to be lucky last minute. Let's make it first this time round. Well, we get it there. Kieran.
Hello, have you got me?
Too many years into the job. Okay, we have it very well sorted. Okay, you call that question, Kieran?
Yeah, sure. Well, look, New Zealand has the best farmers in the world and the most efficient farmers in the world. But at the moment, we are vulnerable because of our over-reliance on one particular market. If we are to access markets that pay more for what we produce, then we need to meet the demands of consumers. And I'm particularly thinking of the UK and the EU here. Part of what we're doing is ensuring that we're able to meet up with our clean green brand. It's not so much the destination. Farmers agree with that. It's the pace of change. And part of the reason why it happens to happen so quickly is because nothing happened in 9 years. And if there's a change of government, nothing will happen again. But we've committed to working alongside the farming sector. That's backed up by the $1 billion in budget 2022 to help them achieve those targets and to meet the regulations that are now in place. We mustn't assume, though, that there will be more and more regulations. Once we meet what we've put in place, we'll be able to meet the demands of overseas consumers.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Kieran. Next up, Celia, how would you like to answer that question?
Kieran, the farming sector is critically important both to the WAIRARAPA and to New Zealand, and there must be improved alignment between government regulations, and that's both central and what the regional councils require, and the growing market demand for more sustainable food and fibre. Our regulations are there to protect our market locally and internationally. Nestle, which is one of the biggest food companies in the world, is aiming for zero emissions, and they want their suppliers to step up. But they have to have the data to prove it. And rural and urban children deserve to be able to swim in our rivers. And right now, there's a lot of rivers that can't swim. Unregulated countries. So when you talk about regulations, it all sounds miserable. But unregulated countries have even worse water quality, these dangerous pesticides, male sterility, cancer, birth defects, anyone, and have poor animal welfare, and they don't receive a premium for their products. Remember Jeanette Simons? She is instrumental in setting up the Sustainable Farming Fund, which is still going 18 years later.
Okay, next up, Simon.
Yeah, I really noticed in the sense that the farmers are a lot of our country. We get most of our revenue from the farmers. Farmers need our help. They certainly don't need to be stomped on by regulation, because in some cases now they're starting to go too far. So business as usual is now becoming over-regulated, and the form filling and the compliance that is now starting to hit them is becoming to a point where it's not finally unbearable. We have to be realistic. We just can't go and put too much ideology onto one sector. So what I want to do is I want to certainly try and help farmers reduce their carbon footprint, reduce methane emissions,
As far as that's concerned, we want to adopt split gas emissions reporting because we think there's still an inexact science as to how much we actually loads a strong greenhouse gas that is actually something to celebrate about. But one of the things we want to use is white grass, which is able to be used overseas. It can reduce carbon emissions by 20%, methane emissions by 20%, and we can't use it.
You mean genetically modified white grass, don't you?
Absolutely. So what's wrong with that? Others are using it.
Okay, so yeah, we want to take regulations off farmers. We need to help farmers. They know how to farm, and we're not going to face, we're not going to be regulated by false science about methane and you've alluded to already. Problem with farming, like other little business, is it's being squeezed. The margins in farming are smaller and smaller. They're meant to become mass producers in farming to be able to make a living. So, yeah, we need to get rid of the corruption in our country, the conflicts of interest, and all those things that drain money out of all the little business, so that farmers can make money in the business. We don't need to overstock and then all the community. If they're not squeezed, they'll farm well. We're the best at it in the world. So.
Which it's something I personally would like to support. Okay, so let's get over to Parliament question number 2. In your opinion, do you think Kieran should continue with coastal level crossings throughout the Wairarapa? Let's kick off with Pete.
Yeah, this is something that, well, I don't know, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's something that's another collaborative issue that needs to be worked out. Look, we're not the party that's going to put lives, put money in front of lives. Yeah, something needs to be done. Whether you make an underpass or an overpass or whatever, if you can't do that, then the train has to slow down and do the crossing. I know it costs money, but if you're going to save lives, what's money? So yeah, we need the crossings, and we need to fix it rather than get rid of it. So it's
okay.
Yeah, look, we're not going to have the community split and survey by Kieran Rail. As far as I'm concerned, Parliament has a lot of one side is on one side of the rail, and the other side of Parliament is on the other. And to close crossings off is just not on. What I can't believe is that we've got a number of crossings that actually have no bells on the road. We've got walls on the road, it's just a stop sign. So no wonder we're starting to have problems in Keniston. We have Ballot, we get people just stop signs. So what we actually do is use a bit of technology. How about barrier arms? They work, right? And we've got the problem with Judge Road. Judge Road can be, I do understand the problem there. We've got a semi-truck that is trying to get onto Aotearoa. We've got the trace on the line. But there are designs around there where we can actually be drive off to the side and then allowed to go onto Aotearoa Road. We don't need to split the community. We don't need to frustrate drivers. We can actually coexist. That's what that wants to do.
Okay, Celia.
Well, first of all, I'm really glad that the platforms and the tracks have been improved and we're actually getting new trains. But I'm not supportive of closing all of those throughways that level crossings that there are at the moment. I'm more used to thinking of the community severance that a state highway makes when it goes through a small town and the children can't and the old people can't cross the road. But to some extent, that's what closing these level crossings would be. Now, there might be one or two that it does make sense. Now, I don't know. But I have to say that I absolutely agree with Simon that all of the crossings should have lights and bells on the minimum. Some of us know people here that actually died on Wilton's Road. And someone like Aotearoa, there should be barrier arms, and there will have to be money put in at James Road. Otherwise, the aircraft trucks will be we want more Frank, we want more trains.
Before Kieran answers, I just want to use own vehicle, just say a little something. You all know Kieran's a cabinet minister. All right, you all understand that the rules are collective responsibility in the cabinet manual. So in some ways, Kieran gets a little bit handicapped, or because they don't say what you can't say. So I just have to bear that in mind, because that the advantage of having a cabinet minister in the electorate is clear, but it brings with it disadvantages. And if you become a local MP and end up in cabinet, you're going to have to deal with the same thing. So sorry, Kieran, over to you now.
So Kieran.
Yeah, well, this whole issue came about because I managed to secure funding for new trains, which will mean double the number of services, which is a game changer for our region. But as a result of that, KiwiRail proposed that certain key intersections be closed. But I don't think they will do it, because KiwiRail have learnt from the appalling process that Waka Kotahi took over the speed limits, where they ignored the clear direction from the region, including myself, and went ahead with it anyway. I've been working alongside KiwiRail, the Masterton Council, and supporting Ron and working with them on behalf of Carterton to look at alternatives. We've got an alternative design for Judds Road and Masterton, and I actually think we'll be able to get them to see common sense in the other ones as well. They are working alongside us, and I think we'll get a positive outcome for the region. More services, safe junctions, but nothing closed unnecessarily.
And someone myself who's a bit of a rail buff here, I grew up on the Kieran Coast where our train control system was CTC. Over at the WAIRARAPA, it is currently track borrow control, which is used for lower capacity lines. So for those who are outside the region wondering what the difference is. So CTC means you're talking to Wellington controls. So track borrow control, you get a slip of paper that tells you can go on there, and it's the upgrade version from the Thai tablet system. And one of the downsides is with the track warrant system, it's harder to deal with the level crossings. That's something that is the interconnection of it. Commonly at Masterton used to be when the train used to come in for the railway crossing that was just north of it. The railway crossing used to go on even that the train was stopping the 2 metre at Masterton train station. For safety, says it had to be at that was because there was no red signal stopping the train from triggering the track circuit. So there's little things there, whereas if you're at a pipe carrying train station, if the train's stopping, the signal's red, and then when the train's ready to go, the signal changes green and the lights come down. So those are some little key differences from a rail buff myself here, who can sit down there and give you a bit of an idea of why things are in there. And one thing I would sit there and say, I'm not sure how locals would go about this, but I would love to see, I see 160 kilometre hour rail through the WAIRARAPA that can sit down and significantly reduce trip time from Masterton to Wellington on the train. And we could do that on our 3'6" or 1,067 millimetre railway gauge. Well, I did put one for former colleagues. Celia asked me whether I had engineering experience. He was shocked to hear that it says I own a coffee cart. There was a Ballot. Yeah, it was when you were in Kenya that it was a submission on one piece of legislation I put in, and the big one was about bringing high-speed rail to New Zealand. Now, yeah, but is this for a high-speed rail? I'm not sure. I mean, put it this way, the train rail isn't even a place where trucks go. Okay, so the next question what would be the first private member's bill that you would put in the biscuit tin upon election? Now, this one will be personal down to the candidates. Each candidate is different. So you can expect a different wide variety of answers from across the country. And yes, there are some very interesting private member bills I've heard over the years, and I would love to know what these candidates are. Now, I think we should go to Kieran, because he's in a very unusual situation of being cabinet minister, but we can sit there and ask, in a personal private member's bill capacity, what would be your next private member's bill you'd put on the ballot?
Yeah, you're right to point out that members' bills are for members of parliament that aren't ministers. Ministers can't put members' bills in the ballot. And so if I'm re-elected and the government's re-elected, I won't be in a position to put in a member's bill. But obviously the priority will be to continue to focus on the cost of living and continue to focus on investment in WAIRARAPA. But I did have a member's bill in the ballot which was pulled and was passed. So perhaps I'll answer with that. What it did was it meant that workers in a triangular employment arrangement had the same rights as other workers. And what that meant is those people that work for MPs have the same rights as anybody else. Previously, MPs could sack them for any reason and not have any recourse available to them. Now MPs have to treat their staff with the same responsibility as everybody else, and I'm really proud of that.
Okay, thank you for that. Kieran, okay. Pete, what would be your first part of members' bill?
Yeah, I think cost of living here is huge. It's a tough one because there's so many important things, but a fair taxation system is what we need. And so our policy is for getting rid of income tax, GST, all those taxes, a blanket 1% transaction tax to close the loophole for the people who aren't paying tax. And people are paying, regular everyday people are paying 30 times what they should be in tax, because the tax burden, most of the tax burden is on everyday people. So, yeah, so that would be huge. That's going to be a game changer for everybody.
You've still got 6 seconds to go.
Excuse me. Probably. You don't use that. It's just you. I think that pretty much you say a few jokes about it.
Okay. Simon, what would be your first part of the members' bill that you would put in the list?
Yeah, I think actually just comes from my experience as being an employer. I think employers are sometimes unfairly seen as being, taking advantage of employees. And in most cases, that couldn't be further from the truth. The whole thing about employer-employee relationships is a symbol of it. And employees and employers need to work together to have a very successful business. And they both have to trust each other. In most cases, that works. Now, if an employee finds that things aren't working out and they want to move on, they can do so. There's not a problem with that. Now, when you get an employee on, you'll probably provide investment to somebody, you'll try and train them, and they can become very valuable. Now, if they wish to leave, you can't have a problem. Everyone has to have a career and you need to be able to move on. But sometimes it works the other way, where an employee doesn't fit in with the employment culture or whatever. And an employer can't actually do anything about that. And I've had a situation where we had people that aren't putting on, and other staff companies saying, what are you going to do about it? So what I'm leading to is that I actually believe that an employer should be able to say, look, things aren't working out, I will pay you 3 months and help you look for another job without going through litigation. Because this is what seems to be happening, is that too many cases are going to litigation, going to employment court, and it becomes very bad and very wrong. Whereas maturity, there needs to be a relief valve that allows an employer to say it's not working, or an employee to say it's not working, and they can both move on. I feel that's really important, especially for small business. Has to happen. That's what I would look for as a public member's bill, is that there can be a dignified way for either an employer or an employee to terminate the arrangement if things aren't working out.
That sounds quite impressive, and I can completely concur. I watched a boss who used to have some very crafty ways of teaching moving on employees, and some of them were trying to get them to go for promotions that maybe shouldn't have gone for, but got them out of his head. You know, and I understand completely what it is, and that sounds very well intended. I know also as someone from Williams, you don't proceed with litigation, 30 weeks here, no questions asked, and the rate like, so a lot of that litigation, I believe, is pushed on, I'm not sure, social development, which, I mean, they should do a great job. Probably before they start simply pushing on to others, but anyway, self witness, we'll sit there and go, the beneficiary is wrong until the High Court judge sits there and sits and says, well, why do you say the wrong text on the process and violate the law? So, Celia, your current reading skill.
I think there are many things that are important, social and economic justice. I don't quite sympathise with the view that employers have no power in those situations. I think there's a bit of a power imbalance, it's not that way around. But what I would be doing is something I'm passionate about. New Zealand is obviously a small country, we don't have the biggest population, but we have got about the fourth largest marine realm in the world. We are responsible for a huge amount of the ocean. And some of that is being trashed by overseas vessels. The Greens are instrumental in getting cameras on fishing boats. I'm sure we saw eye to eye on that one wrong, but they're there now and they're doing a good job of making sure that this bycatch is reported and so on. But we have got a pathetic 1% of our oceans protected. So my private member's bill would be about with iwi, that's where John Kieran gets fellow, with iwi to get 30% of our fantastic huge oceans protected. 30% by 2030, and that would be great breeding ground so that future generations will be able to put palm oil on the table. Still 70% that can be fished, and I might throw in a bit that banned bottom trawling on sea mounts as well, if we had been a port matter ocean field. Thank you.
Yeah, you've got something to say about that. I'm just going to say, and all this for defence, I have to ask the reason I have before. If you downgrade the defence force, how would you police them?
We've always said that defence has a role in maintaining the integrity of our marine environment. Put the question in the box.
So there's one thing you haven't put private members' bills in, you also have to start thinking about how do you do it. Having a policy idea is one thing, how do you do it is the follow-up question your constituents will ask you. And ordinance? No.
Okay, so we are running a little bit ahead of time. I was told you've got a big question.
Well, that's another here, just a quick thought. I was just going through some of the cards in here, and we might just stop for a couple of months. One of the ones that I know about option, you would know one, and it is like all one here. And so it's counting, I might just tell, but over the past few years, someone saying New Zealand has suffered from many forms of division. In the election campaign, there are those who say that there is a lot of division in New Zealand. Part one question, do you agree? If you do, tell us how your party reconnect people and heal the fire so that we are a united country. Once again. If we would, I don't know. Don't you? Excellent. Kieran, if you want to come in first, or
I'm so sorry, Ron. I didn't hear the question.
oh,
It's just a bit echoey. Sorry.
I'll put it in, then I'll go to someone else and Sam bring you back in. So we've got a whole section of cards here, and I'll pick one that I ain't going to dock, just to get there. During this election and during the last few years, there are some who would say that New Zealand has suffered from different forms of division within our communities and across the nation. If you agree with that, just part one. Do you agree with that? Yes or no? And if you do, describe how your party can connect people, reconnect people, and heal the divides so that we are once again a united country of our way, if we all. Who wants to jump this? Simon referred to. Oh, okay, you go first, no, you go first.
I think there are a number of real divisions and there are a number of fabricated divisions. And the biggest real division is inequality. This country's inequality between rich and poor has been growing and growing. And the Green Party will bring in a fairer tax system where property and shares and increasing wealth are taxed at least the same rate as hardworking communities, farmers and traders. Our $10,000 tax-free threshold would mean that people starting out, students and so on, would have a better life. So I think that is the biggest division, and there are ways to heal that. The race-based division is a wee bit of sometimes race baiting. This country was founded first of all by the Declaration of Independence, and then people were welcomed or accepted or put up with, depending on how you read the history, through Te or Waitani. The WAIRARAPA was relatively peaceful, but there were still people displaced from these lands. And then when they came back, they stuffed up the Ruamahanga, Lake Ferry, and the WAIRARAPA Moana was no longer the wonderful integrated weapon that it had been, where there was tuna and hunting the birds that were enough to feed people. So I think we need to heal not only the injustices that have not been dealt with yet by the Scientific Tribunal, but we actually need to learn from our fellow Maori about how to look after our land.
Yeah, the division I think is always going to be with us. It's part of human nature. We're not always going to agree with each other on everything that's out there. We have ideological division, there's racial division, there's wealth division, and I think, sorry, keep rolling here. And look, in the end, it comes down to education. Did you use the button there? It comes down to educational tolerance. We do actually have to find some tolerance, because it's actually a good thing to have division only in a sense whereby we do treat other people with respect and we have different views. Where it goes wrong, social media has a lot to play with this, is that it starts to engender a form of resentment and a form of anger, and in the Twitter sphere or whatever, it is really quite violent. And I'm not enough, I guess a lot of people here probably aren't on it, it's just not something we want to do. But yeah, for me, you can't get away from the division of different ideas. I certainly believe that we should be, as far as race is concerned, colourblind. I think everyone should be treated equally on the basis pretty much of need. And that's making quite a strong stand on that, as you probably are aware. And Martin Luther King had a statement which I thought was actually quite good, which was, we may have all the right hand on different ships, but we're all on the same boat now. And when somebody knows we're on the same direction, and that's really important. So, yeah, not really much more I to that.
You're agreeing with a couple of things there, the financial equity for you and the rest issue for you. Race-based policies we don't need, focusing on the needs of people are what we do need. There's so many, these divisive issues, we're living in a time of more of that than any other time. Everything's heightened, and I don't think the media help with that. It's a lot of propaganda in the media that just feed that, and for some reason, there's a lot of issues that we have which affect everybody, and we need to get those issues sorted, because we can all agree on that, not fighting amongst each other, get those things done, and a lot of these peripheral issues that are really divisive will go away, not completely, but yeah, it's there'll be a banding together on the stuff that is biting everybody. We're just not playing on a level playing field. The wealth distribution chart has gone right off the chart. There used to be 1% of people that had 95% of the wealth. That's old now. Right now it's down to the 0.0000003% of the world that's got all the wealth. That's insane. It's just shifted so far. So yeah, the real issue we need to get rid of. You know, I haven't heard of regulatory capture until recently, and it's unbelievable. Conflicts of interest, regulatory capture, insider trading. These are all acceptable things these days somehow. I don't know how that's happened. We need to sew up those laws and rules and guidelines that keep things honest and get back to some integrity, get people prospering, and we won't be squabbling over all these issues that are sort of gaslighting, that pushed in our face.
Let's get to Kieran now. So, when you see that you've been typed out a question, how would you like to resolve?
What we need is to bring some integrity back into our politics in this country. And we are in the midst of an election where I despair, where political parties and candidates are running around stirring up fear and stirring up division and are actually not being upfront with New Zealand. Take the health criteria, for example. You've had some parties going up crying foul because Māori and Pacifica have been identified that they need to have extra focus because of their poor outcomes. And that has caused all sorts of comments. Some of them are racist. What those parties didn't say was the third criteria was rural. That's us. That's the entire Wairarapa electorate, Wairarapa, Tararua district and Central Hawke's Bay, because we recognise that historically people that live in the provinces have had worse health outcomes and worse access to health than those that live in the cities. And I will always fight for equitable access to services like health. But no, they didn't tell you the full story. They just whipped up fear and division. And I think if we had integrity in politics and actually focused on the truth of the matter and proposing our own policies rather than whipping up fear, then I think ultimately we would have less division in this country.
Thank you, Kieran, for that. Okay, so now let's get around to closing statements of why the Wairarapa voters should give you the electoral vote at this general election. Celia, would you like to kick this one off first?
I believe that in this election, it's your party vote that's strategic. And to have more Green MPs, whether they're in the select committee, whether they're putting in private members' bills, and we've got a great record of giving our private members' bills pulled out of the biscuit barrel, that's because we put so many in. Or potentially in government. Those issues of social justice, environmental justice, and an understanding that we are part of a worldwide system. That some of these issues are global and can't be solved by any one country alone. One of the questions that didn't come up, but was a really excellent question, was AI. That's not going to be solved by New Zealand on their own. That's where things like the United Nations do make sense, to work together on some regulations, whether it's the Christchurch call, or whether it's AI, or whether it's food in the laboratory, which is a big threat in the Wairarapa, but a big opportunity globally. So, I vote Green, And I've been told I can't say who to vote for as an elected MP.
Thank you. Next up, Simon. Why should the WAIRARAPA voters give you their electoral vote?
I think the WAIRARAPA is a stunningly beautiful place. I've been over here since I moved over here. I've loved it before. And I'm getting to know more and more of the issues that are surrounding the WAIRARAPA. And we do have some really, really important issues that we're going to have to about. Do we want to stand up? Do we want to grow? Do we want people to want to come over here and visit us? Do we want people to come over here and live? If we do that, we've got some serious infrastructure needs that we have to deal with. We can't just keep kicking the can down the road. I've already mentioned the Martinborough community water storage scheme. I do believe that has to go ahead. If we don't, we will pay a price for time further down the track. It's one of my passions. The other passion I've got from the area is I would like to see bypasses so that heavy vehicles don't go through and cut through the centre of Carlton, don't cut through the centre of Greytown. And in fact, it would be quite a bit of bypass all the way from Kieran. I've got all to say.
Okay, hence, why should the WAIRARAPA electorate voters give you their electoral vote?
Well, it's, when I was at school, we lived in a very cool Aotearoa, and I'm sure everyone knows that, just in case you don't, that means two words put together that make a nonsense or a contradiction in terms. And the examples used for that back then were military intelligence and honest politician. So it's been known for a long time that skullduggery has been going on, and the people I find myself aligned with now people of utmost integrity. This gun is just, I've been waiting 40 years. I've been eligible to vote, and I've always had to go down the list and tick the list of people. And now finally we've got someone decent to vote for, someone that can't be bought. There's other members in our party that I could talk about. So yeah, two ticks, please.
Next up, Kieran.
We can all remember 3 years ago when we all used to hear that we never saw our MP, that WAIRARAPA, the Tararua district and Central Hawke's Bay was completely overlooked and ignored for too long. And I was determined to change that if I had the pleasure and honour of being the local MP, and I have. WAIRARAPA and the three areas within this electorate have received record investment over the last 3 and last 6 years. And I'm determined to continue that if re-elected. Central Hawke's Bay and Tararua, the Route 52 upgrade, Masterton Skate Park, the new roundabouts, new investment in Wainawa Industrial Park, new school buildings at Greytown School, the Dark Sky Society, flooding fixed in Featherston. Every corner of this electorate has benefited over the last 3 years because every opportunity I take to promote this region and advocate for it. And I would love to continue the privilege of representing you.
Okay, can I say, Kieran, thank you for being both the first Labour MP and Cabinet Minister to appear on the ballot in 2023.
No worries. I'm just so sorry I couldn't be in person.
Cue from down back there, we'll take this opportunity to say first of all, I want to thank the entire team that's in the ballot team. Sam Stacey Ryan. Nick Hollander, Cameron, and Joe Wilcox over the back over there. Thank you for putting this together. For people who don't know, I'm hoping people will pick up and view this video. This is quite an innovative way using technology to get out into the electorate. So the people who can't necessarily get to each and every meeting can go online and see a very orderly and well conducted
conversation and competition between candidates. I do want to thank Simon Casey from the APA. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the first time in school. Congratulations, first time candidate. And second way around, a bit of an old political war horse having fought in a number of campaigns in their time for the Green Party. Ladies and gentlemen, this is here at the moment. Can you get it back up on the screen, please? Can you do that? Kieran, you still there? Hello? Hello, here. Just want to get and we're it's John Minister and the constituency MP and on campaign and keep all those jobs going at the same time. But being here, being available, very much appreciated here. And thank you for the contribution and assistance on that job for the water project at Arnott. I'm going to say a special thank you to Pete from New Zealand Water. Pete, first time candidate, first time to spotlight this and spotlight like this, and it's going to be a learning curve. I take my hat off to you because those first 4 days in politics can be a little bit testing and challenging, and you're a brave man for putting your name in the hat. And I'd like to say congratulations, and I hope you enjoy the campaign. Don't forget to have fun. Interact with each other. You know, the opponents aren't all bad people. It's just probably we just see things through a different lens at times. And respecting each other for your opinion, but debating them strongly is what we will be doing. It's going to be a big campaign, I know that. I've done this before. WAIRARAPA was a huge electorate. Good luck on that campaign. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give them a big hand for all the candidates. Stacey, Ray, and Rachel for putting the show on and making this all available for not just us, but for everybody else who's through the digital mechanisms. The final thank you to you for turning up tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the media. But it's been a great time. I've enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you. And that's it.
So, for those who have been wondering what happened, so last Tuesday on our first show, this is my clutch disc that has just come out of my Suzuki APV van. All 4 of these springs popped out, and I had to get a new one. So my vehicle was incapacitated and only picked back up this morning to get here for the show, so it's been a very interesting one, but that is my clutch blade, etc. did it. I can also tell you that's the release theory. And you can probably see what's saying, but it got 100,000 pace. The last time the clutch went out was just after the campaign got done, and this one was the same time when it came out. Joy's of owning car, Joy's of owning manual. Anyone knows me knows I love my manuals. So, for those who were wondering when they heard about the clutch going out, you're now seeing the damage that has been caused. But the new clutch was absolute nice breeze to go down, and it was very nice using third gear going down the road tuckers and not being confused my brakes, which I'm still all my cars original brake pads after 130,000 kilometres. So I think that's telling you something, you know, every time my wheel arm gets up and every time the wheel line people sort of say, you've got up there with brake pads. So that's my little pipe to sit there and say what's happened. Thank you, Ron, for making this night very, very enjoyable. And thank you for leaving your district to join us in the Labour district.
I guess you haven't done research on it. I used to be a mechanic, I was an A-grade mechanic, so I might as well. I was driving a manual, but when you get your truck up to 439,000 Ks on it, as I have, that's
still pretty good.
Taking the plan, keep one vehicle.
Well, that's it all. So, yes, I'm guilty today.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you. Before we listen here for the online audience, tomorrow night, Aotearoa Electorate at the company Impact Hub. if you want to go, if the audience will be, you can watch the show online, and get to rewatch the Zoom highlights, and you can also join us tomorrow for the OTP show, and see how well the OTP, so let's see how we grew up. We'll sit down and see how those candidates come forward on why they should become the best local independent. See you tomorrow night. See you then. Good night.
That's okay.
Ballot.